the first time I heard the song was watching Fast Times at Ridgemont High, because the song plays during a very interesting point in the movie.
Can I play it here? Can I play that on here, or will we get busted if I play it here?
Busted.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, it's not PG. We'll just put it that way.
Look at you. Of course, you were old enough to watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High when you watched this movie, right, Brent?
Of course.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah. Good evening, Mr. Huard.
Guess who's back?
Who's back?
Back again.
Who?
Fireball's back.
Oh, why?
Tell a friend. I'm out. I haven't been to the store. I was going to go to the store, today? Yesterday? Today? And we got friggin' dumped on, all right? Just this snow. It's absolutely disgusting how much snow landed here, but it's January. What can I expect? So I didn't get out, so... I've been to the back of the cabinet. Sorry.
Where was that? You had that on
Fireball?
hand. Yeah.
Me? Well, I bought it a while ago, just for.
Like you just buy the Mickey of it too.
Well, it's like for a trip
for transportation. Would you walk around with it in your pocket?
No, but I might tomorrow. I'm going to the Dakota Tavern tomorrow night. No, it was for the cottage. When I went with my brother-in-law, we went to the cottage. So it's just a little fun thing that we like to have a little shot of. Just a little bit of Fireball. Right. So I had that. So I just still had that kicking around. But look at I took this to go to the cottage in October. Okay, so we didn't even really drink it, right? Because I've moved up in the world. So today's just one of those welfare days.
Don't undo that progress.
Yeah,
man.
I know, but it actually tastes really good with the ice cubes for some reason today.
Oh boy!
You know what I did? What? Sorry, folks, just real quick. I bit my tongue the other day.
Ouch!
So I'm honestly I'm having trouble speaking sometimes. So if you end up hearing me sound like I'm starting to talk like this, it's because my tongue is hurting and I'm getting a little bit lazier.
The tip of it?
No, it's like
I'm on the side.
The back. Yeah.
Oh,
really bit it, and it hasn't gone away.
Isn't
3
that
days
weird
now.
How at this age, I mean, you're a much younger person than I, but you still do that. Isn't that odd? I do it too.
You know what? And it's hilarious. I was thinking about this the other day too. I seriously was thinking about this the other day. I stubbed my toe. Okay, you stub your toe, you bite your lip or your cheek or your tongue.
Yep.
Right. That friggin' hurts. Yet I am terrified of bees. Don't sting me. I don't want a bee sting, right? But I guarantee you, stubbing your toe, biting any part of your mouth with your teeth hurt 100 times more than getting stung by a bee.
Oh, I know. You just reminded me of a funny story. When I was a teenager, I was golfing, and I was looking for my ball in this kind of fescue, and I was I had my club, and I was swinging it around through the fescue, trying to knock it down so I could see my ball, and I hit a hornet's nest with the club. And honestly, 16 hornets came at me.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I just got thrashed. I was covered in stings.
You lived to tell the tale. Clearly not allergic.
So bad. No, I guess not. But I felt that, man. It was bad.
So how are you with bees now? Did that basically you're frigate, this happened, I'm good?
Now I have hornet power.
Yeah.
They transferred their power to me. I have a stinger, and I can kill people with it. Totally.
That's why you wear black all the time.
That's right. That's it.
You're a hornet.
Yeah, like Sting. That happened to Sting too. That's why they call him Sting.
The black and yellow sweater.
Yeah, but also stung by hornets.
Stung by hornets.
I don't know where I'm going with it. Anyway.
So obvious.
Let's move along.
Well, hey, you're all I've got tonight, Brent. Okay? You're all I got tonight.
Good.
Let the good times roll.
Let's let the good times. I was just going to say, let's let the good times roll. Don't you stop, Alex.
Hey, man, I'm in touch with your world. Okay?
Okay, what we got? Right? 5. We got 5 left.
Don't you stop. Don't you stop.
I already used that one.
Damn it, you did, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Worked so well. The Cars.
How'd you like the record? Oh,
Yeah.
You didn't like it?
No, I did. I did like this album. This is, you know what though? You know, you got the different cliques at school, right? You got the jocks, you got the preps. Well, I guess they're kind of the same people, and you got the punks, and you got the nerds and stuff like that. So like, you got Queen, who's like, the cool kids. Mm-hmm. And then you've got the Cars, who are trying to be like the cool kids.
Yeah.
But they're cool in their own way, right? So what I'm trying to go with here is they're kind of like a nerdier version of Queen, but some really good tunes on this album.
It's an apt description, I think, especially when you consider Rick Ocasek.
Okay.
Kind of a nerdy type character.
Seems like it.
But, and that's funny that you make that Queen reference, because the same producer, right, Roy Thomas Baker, produced a number of Queen records, and also this one, the Cars debut record.
I got a lot of Queen vibes off of this, and didn't even realize it was the producer until after I had listened to it. Mm-hmm. The same producer, and he did Sheer Heart Attack.
That's right.
Fantastic
album. One of my
album.
favorite records.
So good.
They took a little bit of stick for this, the Cars did, because of that production, because they said it was too slick. And one of the most interesting things for me about this record, I think, is because it's a rock record. The Cars is a rock band, kind of almost masquerading as a new wave band for me, right? Because if you really listen closely, and we'll go through the songs, there are a lot of hard rock songs in here, but there's almost like this kind of lacquer that tries hard to kind of make that rock record into like this art rock work, right? And if you listen to it with that in mind, it makes perfect sense. And we'll go through the songs and I'll explain what I mean, but it's rock masquerading as new wave almost, and that's why I wanted to talk about it tonight. Great
guitar pieces on this album. So I feel that. I feel like, I don't know, hard rock doesn't really come to mind, but rock certainly, like the guitars. So I knew the Cars from Good Times Roll, from My Best Friend's Girl, from Just When I Needed, right? When I got through further into this album, this always seems to be the case. There are instances that come from this band that I just didn't realize this band kind of explored. Right, and a lot of the heavier guitar licks. Like there's some great guitar tones on this, and I didn't associate that initially with the Cars when I knew of these other songs. Right, it's always kind of been the power pop. Right, it's kind of like somewhat distorted, but clean distortion at times. Right, it's just, but then there's some really great rock guitar sounds on these songs and later on in the album. So yeah, cool album. Glad I listened to it. I feel like I'm starting to listen to music and listen to these albums a little differently now. Mm-hmm. Perfectly honest. I'm not trying to be like, ooh, look at me, I'm learning about music, right? But I am learning about music, so I am trying to actually look at these a little differently. I'm trying to show a little bit more appreciation for the songs, for the time, for what that influence was, and just looking at everything that came out around the respective eras, and just trying to listen to the albums, just a little bit differently. Because again, I went back and I listened to My Aim Is True by Elvis Costello. Love that album. I think I love it more than This Year's Model. Like, I just really, really like that album. Yeah, some great stuff on it.
Now, the Cars. So a rock band masquerading as a new wave band, in my opinion. Yep. And I always thought that was very interesting because, and we'll go through the songs as I said, but you can hear the rock just like bursting at the seams, but it's kind of covered. It's constrained by a lot of keyboards and a lot of gadgetry. And apparently, when they started out in the mid-70s, they were a straight up rock band, but they were fascinated with gadgetry. And so they made all these investments and stuff and, keyboards. And then also Roy Thomas Baker came over and started layering vocals, And apparently Rick Ocasek said to him, he's like, this is way, way, way too much. Like, this isn't our sound. But then he listened to it and said, actually, this could be our sound.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where I get the Queen feel, man. Like, Good Times Roll, right? Let the good times roll. Like, Queen all over that. It just is, it's kind of crazy how much I just feel that. And a couple other songs later on, just even the production of them is just so Queen. And I think that's what I liked about it, because obviously I was a big fan of Sheer Heart Attack. So I wasn't not expecting that. And I also, when I listened to the Cars earlier on in my life, I had no concept of Queen and what they were doing. So it never stood out to me like it did listening to it now. One thing I would say, just to your gadgetry comment, like, I don't know where they got the name the Cars from, because they I feel like they should have been like the Flangers or the Flangers or whatever, however you want to call that, because the Flangers, because like every song is just like wow, like just flanging, flanging.
I know. That is so funny. It
works, but it's all over the place.
I think so too. I mean, it works, right? But the thing is, when your entry point to the Cars is stuff like Good Times Roll and My Best Friend's Girl, you don't really, you just assume it's a new wave band that you're hearing until you really listen closely. And you listen to songs like Just What I Needed, and you hear, you know what I mean? Like the intro is just all guitar, and it sounds like it could be a heavy song, or Don't You Stop. Like there's a heavy guitar in that song, but it's like kind of, you come for the new wave and you stay for the rock.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Rock all through this, man. Rock all through this. Good Times Roll kicks it off brilliantly. I guess I shouldn't say I love it. I know the song too well. It's good. It's a great kickoff. It's kind of like, again, you think about it as their introduction to people. It's a great introduction of a band, this song.
It's Ocasek's lyrics are very sarcastic, and it's about like how kind of rock and roll good times are not really good times. It's really kind of overblown and overemphasized, and it mocks, kind of rock star life and stuff like that. And there's a great line in there that I always liked, and it's funny because I was reading probably a couple of months ago about this, and there's a great line that goes, "Let them leave you up in the air, let them brush your rock and roll hair." And I always thought that's kind of a very clever line, "Let them brush your rock and roll hair." And Ocasek was being interviewed, and somebody said to him, "Was that just like a throwaway lyric? You couldn't come up with anything better?" And he was like, "No, it's actually like, on purpose, because it was, what I meant to say was, let them do whatever they want. As a rock and roll person, I kind of want to make it to the top. So let them brush my rock and roll hair. Like, they can do whatever they want." And that was part of the mockery. I got it as like, it's funny. I didn't get that. I was like, yeah, like, just let the good times roll. I thought this was like, yeah, let's go on out. Let's have a good time. Let's just, forget about everything and let the good times roll. And that was kind of what my takeaway from it was. No, very sarcastic, very ironic. He's kind of a smart ass. Ocasek was.
Just like Costello, too smart for my little head.
Well, that was the thing, Alex. At that time, everybody would that going back to that punk thing that we've been talking about in previous episodes. The punk was not necessarily a physical aspect. It was more of an intellectual aspect. It was a rebellion aspect.
It's a friggin' attitude, man. That's why when they came out with Punk magazine, right? Punk. It was called Punk magazine because it was all about the attitude.
Exactly.
Okay, did this ever happen to you?
What?
Did one of your best friends ever steal a girlfriend of yours, or not even necessarily steal, but date a girl after you dated her, and you had to watch that?
I think this has happened to everyone. Don't you?
I don't think it. I don't know if it happened to me.
It's happened.
I know that some buddies at school like may have dated a girl that I would have liked to have dated, and just didn't have the chops.
It's happened both ways for me. I feel like I know that I dated a girl that one of my friends dated previously, and that's always kind of a funny thing, right? Because you see them together, and then like he broke up with her, so she was just kind of, and then maybe a year later we got together or whatever. But you see them in a complete.
I always liked you, Brent. I always liked you.
That
even when we were together, I always liked you.
No, that never really. There's none of that discussion.
Okay. Never mind.
It's funny because you see these people in a completely different light all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Right. Before I like you, she's good looking, but like she's my friend's girlfriend, so you don't. And then when that changes, it's like, whoa, she's like super good looking. Yeah. And then all of a sudden she's your girlfriend.
But she's your girlfriend. Yeah.
So, yeah. So nice. I think it happens often. Apparently in Rick Ocasek's case, it did not happen to him. He got asked that all the time. He's like, so who is the girl? And he said it was just something I imagined. It was not a situation that ever happened to me.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Just like, oh my God, I just blanked out his name. Who produced Bat Out of Hell? Or who's the guy, the piano player, Bat Out of Hell?
Jim Steinman.
Jim Steinman, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was like, none of that shit ever happened to him, but it was just everything in that album was just everything that imagined that he thought of ever. If like, what if any of this ever happened to me in my life? So, anyways,
yeah,
interesting mindset to be in there, Rick.
And that's pretty funny because it sounded pretty genuine, right? When Steinman wrote those lyrics, I mean, Meatloaf carried that through, with a lot of compassion and everything. But you would have sworn that happened to one of them, and it
totally
didn't. Yeah, it was all imagined. So, yeah,
fun guitar in Best Friend's Girl. Fun guitar. Oh, little. I guess even people have considered it rockabilly at times, just the way that the guitar is played. But yeah, it's. It's interesting, man. This is an interesting song. It kind of puts you in the 80s, or I know this is 70s, but it kind of puts you in that, like, I don't know, in that world. Doesn't take me back to my high school or elementary school days. It takes me to like 80s high school. It reminds me of 80s movies for some reason. That's why.
I could see that. It's got that vibe, right? But again, it's the beginnings of New Wave. And New Wave was the beginnings of 80s music, really. Yeah. So that's why. Yeah. And that's why what we're doing is so interesting, because it's a pathway almost, a progression. If I can do this properly.
If you could do it properly. There's no pressure, man. Hey, I'm just along for the ride. Yeah. Hey, this is just what I needed.
Look at you.
Bam. Bam, bam.
See, it's so good, right? That's what I mean about the guitar. It's like the chug, 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 chug.
It's funny. I don't think of hard rock. I don't think of this turning into a rock song.
Really?
For real, man. It's like, no matter how many times I hear the song, I don't see it turning into a rock song. I'm kind of like,
that is so
nonplussed.
Maybe I'm a product of my environment. Just being a metal kid, I was like just waiting for the rock to come out.
Yeah, that's totally. I believe it. Yeah.
But again, that's what's cool about these discussions that we have, like all the way through this entire show, right?
Yeah.
Is like your perception and my perception. It's like, whoa, yeah, I didn't even look at it that way. But that's what's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Synthesizer, flanger, all throughout.
A lot of flanger everywhere. Benjamin Orr wrote this, or maybe he wrote the song. I don't know if he did, but he sang this. Which is kind of funny because he sounds very much like Rick Ocasek to me.
No kidding.
Do you notice that?
I noticed a difference now because I now know it was two different people singing it. Otherwise, I could have sworn it was Rick Ocasek through all of these songs.
Yeah. No. Ben Orr, he sings a couple.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm in touch with this world.
What do you think of that one?
It's like I need my button. I need my skip button.
I know. I knew you were going to skip.
Who doesn't skip this song? Okay, tell me who doesn't skip this song.
See, this is like art rock. This is what I was talking about. So this is like that art rock kind of lacquer that's on this record, right? It really kind of succeeded in kind of sequestering this song, because this is very much art rock. There's a funny story about the song, I think. How does it go? There is this a line in the song that goes, everything is science fiction. And then you can hear, I think it's in the second or third verse, and you hear this this weird like effect after, right? But the story goes is that the original lyric by Rick Ocasek was, everything you say is fiction. And the keyboard player misunderstood and thought the lyric was, everything is science fiction. So he played this weird like space effect after. And Rick Ocasek looked at him and said, what are you doing? And he said, it was science fiction. He goes, no, that's not what I said. I said, say is fiction. And then they laughed about it. And Ocasek actually changed the lyric
to science fiction?
Science fiction, because it was so
that's
funny.
Awesome.
And that's what you hear on the record.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great story to accompany this. I was thinking neat. Like the because it's definitely art rock drumming, because it's like drum over here and then tap tap tap, little top of the cymbals, but then they also bring in like the you know the little whirly thing, when you do the like it's kind of like you have the little thing. So I'm just imagining when I'm listening to this song. First, I'm thinking, what the hell is this? I'm never listening to this again. But then I'm also picturing the drummer going like playing all these things and then quickly reaching for the little spinny thing and then coming back and grabbing the little spinny thing.
I know.
I had a laugh at that. Yeah, yeah. So it's sure art rock, whatever. I was just like, this is the only song on the album that is useless to me.
It's a skipper for me too. It's weird because it's so early in the sequencing too. You'd think this would be buried towards the end.
No kidding. Yeah. Well, that's why everything from here on, this is where a lot of people say this is where the album starts for me. This is where the album starts for me. I knew those first 3 songs, right? There's nothing bad about them, but I'd known them. I'm in touch with your world is and now Don't Just Stop to All Mixed Up is like, let's do this. Don't Just Stop is song 5. So what is this? The beginning of side?
This is
2?
the last song on side 1.
Don't Just Stop, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is a rock song for me. It's the best example probably of like the rock being inside of the new wave kind of candy, right? There's a rock core inside.
Totally.
Yeah.
This is, do you hear the drums in this at the beginning? Mm-hmm. Flangers. They put flangers on the drums.
That's Roy Thomas Baker.
Like, what the hell?
This was they were going for a scene. 78.
It also reminds me of She Sells Sanctuary. I feel like they might have taken the beginning of this, the anyways, just kind of what I caught when I first listened to it.
Yeah, good tune.
Great tune. I love this song.
Me too. Good.
It's awesome. Again, Queen, right? Like, don't stop me now. Don't you stop. Don't you stop. Don't stop me now. Anyways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, you see how all these things are connected now. The producer's influence, all these things, like scenes, influence, like of genres. Like, do you know what I mean? Like we can listen to albums, but then when you kind of expand the idea further and you think about how producers influence records and then other previous artists influencing playing and how the record, is performed and sounds, and there's all kinds of like cool considerations.
Elvis Costello really blew my mind with that, with the lifting, man. Like,
you did such a great job of that was, somebody made a comment in that show, but wow, it's cool that you guys compared those. That was all you. There was such a great, I was really surprised we didn't get stung on the copyright for that, because there was a lot of
back to back. Shorter than 5 seconds, Brent. Shorter than 5 seconds.
Is that the rule? Yeah.
That's kind of what you go for. You try and use a clip for a little less than 5 seconds. I think some I might get away with like 6.5 seconds, maybe. Yeah. So, but yeah, me too. I'm with you. With you. First song aside too. You're all I've got tonight.
Great song. Very interesting mix between a raw vocal and that kind of textured. Again, I think that the background vocals are textured on this, but like this is probably another, well, if not the best example. I know I said that about Don't You Stop, but a very, very good example of the rock kind of almost fighting the new wave. On this
Totally.
record.
This is one of those songs with a great guitar tone, with a really great rock and roll sound to it. Yeah, this is awesome. And the synth, the way that they bring the synth in, like, I love it. Like, it's not, yeah, it's a lot of synth, but I don't feel like it's like overly synthy. It's not like it's bad taste synth. It's like, oh, we're coming up with the 80s, we have to use synths. I like it. And then in combination with the way that guitar lick comes in, like, so it's so well done. This is a great song.
Yeah, no, I love it too. It's funny because this, Bye Bye Love, and Moving in Stereo, all radio classics, but never released as singles. Isn't that strange?
Really?
Yeah.
It is. I've never heard these songs before in my life. 3
singles only. None of these 3 songs were singles ever. So strange, eh?
You know, people talk about this as being, and I think even members of the band talk about this album being like a greatest hits album. This is their greatest hits album.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I know. Imagine that. If that was your debut and you put this out there and you had like 6 out of 9 hits.
I've talked about like, Orlando's friggin' amazing debut album. Led Zeppelin, amazing debut. The Doors, fantastic debut, right? I didn't feel that way about this, but it's a great album. But it never came to my mind as like, wow, this is a fantastic debut, right? Boston, fantastic debut. It didn't even cross my mind listening to this. This is a fantastic debut.
Yeah.
But it's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, and they, this did well, but Candy-O was their next record, and that, I think, did even better.
Oh, wow.
So
no kidding.
Yeah.
Bye Bye Love, great song. They're even, is this Ben Orr again? Is he singing this one?
I think so. Yeah.
Because
this was like one of the oldest Cars songs. Like this was around since like 1973, I think, or 4.
No kidding.
Yeah, this is one of the first songs they ever wrote.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because they not to go too far back here, but yeah, they all came from a few different bands, and they played in a couple different bands together. And I think Ocasek and Orr played together or something like that, right? Did they play?
Yep.
Just played it almost like a CSN type.
They had
duo.
a folk band together.
Yeah.
They met. One of them was in a band called the Grasshoppers or something like that, and one of them saw the other one playing in that band. Then they formed a folk duo together that didn't go anywhere.
Right.
Then they were in a band called Captain Swing or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And then that didn't go anywhere. But most of the other guys were in the band too. And then 4 of them went off and started the Cars. Yeah.
Good business move. Yeah. I guess what I was going to say was like it almost sounds like Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
As well singing here in this song specifically. So I would say that I guess if there's a song that it doesn't sound like Rick Ocasek singing, it is this one. But it's interesting. I think he comes in later in the song, but for the majority of the song, it's almost like a low kind of, it's that Freddie Mercury, not obviously high singing voice. It's just like a lot of Queen in this. It's I think that's what I really liked about it.
The producer's influence again.
But
it's deceiving as to what the reasons are, because sometimes it's the things like backing vocals, very inconspicuous, where you don't really realize it's there, but you can't pinpoint what it is that reminds you of Queen. But it's those layered vocals sometimes.
It's interesting too, because I never really came across, like, in looking up and reading about the Cars, that they were ever really compared or not even necessarily, sorry, I shouldn't say compared, but there wasn't a comparison anyways, like in any form, to Queen. Like I didn't see anybody saying like, oh, they're like, modern day Queen, or it's the Queen of the, or it's like, there was no, they weren't even in the same conversation, which I find really fascinating.
Yeah, I know. The only link really is Roy Thomas Baker, but that's more than enough of a link.
I know, but it's just even the sounds, like the layered vocals, some of the stuff that they do here, like in Bye Bye Love, and all mixed up. Like there are things in this album that are very Queen-esque, and I get the producer's involvement, but like the fact that they weren't even like, well, it sounds like Queen, or you could definitely hear the influences of Queen. Like I didn't see any of that. So, anyways. Cool transition from Bye Bye Love into moving in stereo.
I love this song.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's fantastic.
Oh man, right?
Yeah.
The first time I heard this song was watching Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Okay. I haven't watched it. I haven't seen it, no.
So people who are watching this will know why I'm smirking, because the song plays during a very interesting point in the movie.
Okay.
Can
I play it here? Can I play
that?
it here? Can I play that on here, or will we get busted if I play it here?
Busted.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, it's not PG. We'll just put it that way.
Look at you. Of course, you were old enough to watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High when you watched this movie, right, Brent?
Of course.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite movies of all time, I think. Fast Times.
Wow.
You should see it. Yeah.
I should watch it. It's watch
great.
it, absolutely.
It's so good. You'd love it. Actually, it goes hand in hand with the show, because they talk about, it's of the period, right? Van Halen, Cheap Trick, the Cars. Yeah. Great soundtrack.
No kidding.
And it's funny because the song is featured in the movie, but it's not on the soundtrack itself. Very strange.
Wow. Oh, it is. I was going to say, is that Cameron Crowe? Because it is. It's a Cameron Crowe story.
Fast Times.
Cameron Crowe. Yeah, he wrote it, I think.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Because it was interesting. I was just thinking about that. I was like, is that a Cameron Crowe? Because obviously Cameron Crowe did Almost Famous because of his involvement as a writer at Rolling Stone. And I just watched Remember My Name, the David Crosby documentary, because I'm all David Crosby right now, and Cameron Crowe did that one. So I had this energy moving towards Cameron Crowe. Weird.
You'll have a different kind of energy when you find out how the song was used.
When was
You'll feel a different.
My parents watched the show. Take it easy. My parents watched the show. All right.
Text me after. Like, go and
I'll
have a look and text me to let me know.
All right.
But yeah, interesting.
Great tune. Love the song. Atmospheric. Yeah. I don't know if there's enough atmosphere in the song for you, but definitely atmospheric.
There's plenty.
Yeah. Nice.
Plenty at the beginning of the song. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And same with this one, the way that it transitions into All Mixed Up. Super cool, man. This is great.
This is interesting because there's the sax at the end. And I think this is the only song. This is the only car, right? It's the only Cars song ever, I think, in their discography that contains a sax solo.
It's so good.
Yeah. And it was, what's his name? Greg Hawkes, I think, was the keyboard player who actually stepped away from the keys and played that sax solo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Played it on a saxophone. He didn't just play the saxophone on the keyboard.
No, it's legit sax solo. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Again, that leave it to me, it'll be all. Like,
that's it. That's Roy Thomas Baker right there.
That is skin vibrating stuff, man. It is this song. Wow. Like when I think of Sheer Heart Attack and the way that whole album made me feel, this is a portion of that.
That's cool.
What a song. Oh, yeah.
I like that. Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. Because you can feel the passion too, right? Like you just feel it. Like it's one of those songs where you just feel it. Like, you just feel like they were in this. Because I can only imagine when you're recording a song like this, you're hearing everything around you, you're in it. You can't help but just like give everything you've got when singing a song like this. Love this song.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because I think Rick Ocasek wrote the song and sang the demo, but Benjamin Orr sings the recorded version.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That friggin' sax, man, is
I know,
unbelievable.
Completely unexpected though, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
So cool.
And it's that taste, right? It's not a lot, but it's enough for you to be like, "What? Come back!" It's enough to make you go.
That's right.
Back to the beginning of that song.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's so great. It's so great that you like this record.
Yeah, I feel like I can't. Like I'm picky with I'm in touch with your world. I want to give this a 5. I really want to give this a 5. There have been albums where I haven't given it a 5 because of one song.
How about a 4.75?
Like it's definitely all right. We'll just go with 4.5. I'll give it a 4.5. This is a great album.
I'm good with that.
Great album.
Good. I'm glad. See, another good one.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep. Another good one. I didn't think I would like the Cars. I didn't think I was going to like this album.
So when I heard the Cars,
songs,
were you like,
a little bit.
Really?
I was like, I know the songs are catchy. I guess you just what I needed. Yeah. All right. Cool. You know, actually, that song. What was it? The dun, 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 I think was it that one? It's Fountains of Wayne. Stacy's
that's just
mom.
what I needed. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's where they. I think they took this.
The opening.
Okay. So
all right,
now,
so
the moment of truth.
Keep it going.
So, this is really cool because, I'm thinking about the Police and Elvis Costello and this, and you said, I didn't think I was going to like a lot of this stuff. And it turned out that you did, which is really cool.
Know.
So now we have a number of choices. So we're getting closer to the 80s. We have Television, Marquee Moon. You know about them a little bit.
I don't know Marquee Moon. I know Television.
Okay. We have the Pretenders. We have, as I said, Talking Heads and Blondie. But the problem that I have with the Talking Heads records is the same one I have with the Blondie records, is that there's like one or two songs that are good on each record, and then there's stuff that maybe isn't great. So I was going to propose that we do Blondie Parallel Lines and Talking Heads Speaking in Tongues.
Copy that.
So we'll do kind of a double shot, and we'll go through the best of those records, and then we'll do, well, I won't give it away, but we'll do another one that'll bring us closer to the 80s.
All right, man. Let's do it. I'm enjoying this. foray.
Cool. All right. That's good. So am I. This is fun.
Yeah.
So we're almost telling a story as we go, right?
Trying to.
And you can see this kind of taking shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
A lot of cool stuff happening during this period in music.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it, man. 2 albums next week, folks.
Double shot.
Double shot.
Just like Alex's glass.
Boom.
It's more like a quadruple shot.
If I filled it up. It's feeling good, man.
Remember that episode where the show started and you showed your glass and there was like this much bourbon in it. And you said, God. And you just started to drink bourbon. And I just got a fireball. And you said, I think I filled up my glass a little bit too much. And I was like, oh. And at the end of the show, there was like nothing. And I said, hold your glass up. This is Van Halen. I remember this. I said, hold your glass up. And I could see your eyes are all squinty. And you're like, here. Like, maybe overboard a little bit.
Bourbon's just fantastic. I can't wait to get another bottle. Can't wait. Great, man. Well,
all right.
feel like I want to end the show with this every single time now. Okay, folks, just remember.
Good vibes only.
Good vibes only.
Don't forget.
All right? Don't forget. I'm not going to blow it and read a dumb quote out of here. I'm just going to say good vibes only.
Good cover only.
Good cover
The rest
only.
of the book,
all right.
not so good. Okay.
Cool. Cheers, man.
All right, man.
Dose albums.
See ya.